Right, boys and girls, you join us on a rather busy Fendt stand at the LAMMA Show 2020, where we're going to talk about the latest Fendt tractor developments, including the brand new FendtOne control concept. Joining me now, we have the main man himself, Mr. Peter Henson, who's going to give us a quick run through. So, Peter, what's going on with your new control concept?
So, what we got here then is the new cab layout for the 700 series. So, we'll start to see these coming into market, limited numbers in July, and then after factory shutdown in August, then we'll start to see more numbers come through on the 700 series. But looking at the Profi Plus sector at the moment for the 700 series, but in the tractor itself, then is we got three main key elements that have changed for us. Obviously, number one then is our digital dashboard display, so it's giving us a much clearer view of what's happening with the tractor, but also what we've got to do in future is being more information onto that screen as well for what's being shared from the terminal.
So in theory you could have maybe guidance at the front instead?
Yeah, so at the moment it's fairly limited as what they can do, so I can say, for instance, bring my spool valve settings and have that in front of me, but the end goal will be to have our guidance screen sat in front of us on there. Other main change then is the moving to a 12-inch terminal on here, so fully touch screen, as similar to the old one, but instead of being 4 tiles on there, I've now got 6 tiles. But then I can design those tiles to be whatever I want it to be, and then very much like our smartphones then is I can swipe across and I can have various different pages, and again as I can design those to be what I want them to be, so I can touch up in the top of the corner of the screen there, and if I wanted I could change the user, so if we've got multiple operators jumping on the tractor, they can have their own, they can set the screen up to be how they want it to be, so it's mainly having the maximum flexibility to design the tractor how we want it to be on there. And then moving on from that then is obviously a big change on the armrest itself, but it's still keeping a lot of familiarity with across the old model. So if we got existing Fendt users today jumping in the new model, it will still feel a familiar environment. So the joystick still operates exactly the same, so still forward, backwards, shuttle, forwards and reverse, and knock it into cruise control. That's all very all the same on there. It's just then the reallocation of the buttons, but we're still trying to keep the grouping the same. So anything that's orange coded is still to do with transmission. Anything that's blue then is more to do with hydraulics. Now we've got a series of white buttons then that have got a factory preset functionality of them, but then we've also got the flexibility to change them.
Okay, so along with the customization of your screen, you can customize all the buttons as well?
Customize all of those as well. What we have in here then as an optional extra is the 3L joystick. So this will do hydraulic control, but again as I can assign that to do different functions. So I've got 3 layers on there. I think it's covering either 27 or 29 functions across the 3 layers on there, and then that will also go on to be a Isobus joystick as well in the future. So it's just waiting for software versions all to catch up and everyone to start talking to each other.
Okay, and the Rotary Dial, I presume that's navigation now, which has been taken away from there?
Yeah, so we've lost our Rotary Dial up on the side there, so this now controls my screen there. So if I've got a little blue triangle in the corner of my screen there, it means I'm operating that screen. If I touch up there onto that one, now all of a sudden my dial is now controlling the second screen for that. And then down here then as I got my aircon and I got my infotainment as well. So the radio has all been run through the screen, so a bit like similar to what we saw on the 900 series. Okay, yeah. The infotainment package, that's moved on to the 700 series, but now we've got the volume controls down there. And then up here then, so we've got the option then of a second screen.
Just for good measure?
Yeah, just for good measure on there, but if it's not needed, I can push it up out the way, so when I'm on the road then I can run it at half screen there, and then if I didn't need it at all, if I was just doing a bit of trailer bashing, then I can switch that screen off altogether, so I don't have that screen lit up at say at night on there. So yeah, got a lot of things going on in this.
Okay, and I believe this is just kind of half of the story of the new FendtOne concept. Yeah, you've got some off-board technology that complements it as well.
Yeah, this is covering the onboard, so the off-board sector. So we got another booth over on the other side of the stand there. So the off-board side is looking at the task management So looking at getting a quick and simple way of getting the data off the tractor, whereas beforehand we had to link into farm management software programs, but not everyone was geared up for that, and a lot of those programs were probably giving a bit too much functionality and being maybe a little bit too complicated for what someone wanted to do, where they just wanted to get basic job area covered, that has been covered, and time on the job and fuel use. So that's what FendtOne enables us to do, is quickly and seamlessly transfer data between the...
So you're just cutting out the middleman and making it a damn sight simpler.
Yeah, and the beauty of that side of it is not just limited to the new cab, so the task management will work with the old cab structure as well. As long as we've got the access to the Vario dock server on there, we can beam that information to and from. What we will go on to do in November with the software is a function what we call guide sync. So that will only be available with the new cab structure, but that will allow us then to get all tractors in the fleet onto the same, using the same field names, same field boundaries, and all with the same AB lines. Whereas typically now, as you jump into a lot of tractors across the farm, and they can all have slightly different field boundaries, AB lines, so we can get all that tidied up, do all that into the office, and then send that back out to the new tractors on there. And then if an operator makes a change to a field, whether it's an AB line or a field boundary change on there, then it comes back to the office. The office can then have a message say, well, a change has been made, do you want to share that with the rest of the fleet? And they can make that decision whether or not to. So it gives us a quick and easy way of sharing everything between tractors as well.
Okay, and in terms of rollout, you mentioned this new control concept. It's going to be on the 700s first. Obviously, you're a big volume seller, you want to hit that.
Yeah.
When can we expect it on other models? I think 514, is it that's going to get it as well?
314.
Sorry, 314.
We had this discussion yesterday, 314. So we'll see the 314 as well in July, limited numbers, so that will be out. In regards to when it comes out onto the rest of the models, I'd say over the next 3 to 4 years. Right. They haven't set out they haven't shown a particular roadmap to say, right, after we've cracked the 700s, it's going to go onto the 500 series next, or the 800 series. But eventually, everything over 3 to 4 years will have this new armrest in there.
Ideal. Thank you very much, Peter.
No problem.